spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the 7th inning stretch. It's your boys Trenton and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to the MCU. We're going to be breaking down the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. I mean, we have been waiting so long for this, and it's finally here, and let me tell you
something else, man.
I haven't seen a trailer reception this good since Infinity War.
Yeah, man, it's been a great reaction to this trailer so far. We have been waiting for a long time, but the Brand New Day is finally here.
Nice.
And we are getting the trailer. Thank you. We're just a little over 4 months away till this movie comes out, and I am so hyped for it, dude. I thought I was already excited for this movie. Seeing this trailer made me even more excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. And DC needs to take some notes about a trailer because, I mean, the reception to Lanterns versus Spider-Man, yes, I know they're very completely different properties, but the reception for them has been night and day.
100%. Yeah, it's been super different. And even just what they were willing to give us in these two trailers alone are super different. This Spider-Man trailer is packed. They are giving us a lot of stuff, and there was a lot to go over. And it feels like a different tone to the Green Lanterns trailer, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this trailer starts out with Peter sitting down as spider people famously do, and Peter's watching a video that Ned posted on his Instagram of him and MJ's first day at MIT. And since this movie's taken place 4 years after No Way Home, this opening scene is probably taking place in the movie during year 1 of 4, and it'll probably be followed up with a montage of Spider-Man fighting some villains and showing what he's been going through and what he's been doing during those 4 years. So I'll be excited for that montage.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I actually didn't even put 2 and 2 together in that sense that in No Way Home, they were getting ready to go to MIT, and now it's their first day at MIT, so it's not going to be 4 years after No Way Home, at least that part of the movie. So we probably are going to get some sort of montage, him fighting some bad guys, stuff like that, like you mentioned. But yeah, clearly not over losing Ned and MJ, understandably. He's still very much invested in what's going on in their lives. He just can't be active and present with them, so he's kind of just watching from a distance, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's still hanging out at the same donut shop that MJ works at, but he's not interacting with them because he knows how dangerous that could be for them. So, you know, poor Peter.
Poor Peter. Too weak.
Yeah, man, it's rough for him. That's the whole thing he has to juggle. He wants to let these people in on his life so bad because he cares about them, but because he cares about them, he doesn't want to put them in danger.
Yeah, exactly. So Peter masks up, and as he's falling, we get a shot of his face from inside the mask, and that was such a cool little detail.
It was really cool. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like Iron Man in a way.
Jarvis, scan this guy's balls.
We'll do so.
Yeah, definitely. And after we see him mask up, we hear him reciting the letter that he was initially going to read MJ at the end of No Way Home. And then we see him sitting beside his one tiny washer, just washing his Spider-Man suit. And like this little shot right here is just like peak depressed Spider-Man, which is a funny thing because that's kind of emerged with Spider-Man fans as like the thing that makes the story good. Like the more depressed he is, the better the Spider-Man story is, which is just very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny way that's kind of played out. When things are going bad for Peter, that means things are going good for the audience.
Exactly. And also during this time, we also see Spider-Man got the key to the city, and MJ and Ned are watching it on TV. And clearly MJ has some mixed emotions seeing Spider-Man on the TV. Like she knows there's something there with him, and Strange's spell will only work if Peter lets it. So who knows if that's going to happen, but she probably remembers that Spider-Man saved her at the Statue of Liberty, but she doesn't remember who Spider-Man was.
Yeah, I think I might have to go back and listen to the exact wording, but I'm pretty sure it was make people forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right? So like not make people forget that Spider-Man exists. So people will still have their memories interacting with Spider-Man. They just won't know who's under the mask.
Exactly.
That seems like probably what she's going through right now.
Yeah, 100%.
There was one more thing. You mentioned Peter getting the key to the city. Usually that's a mayoral thing that happens. Maybe this does happen in the past or a little bit before what is going on currently today, because Wilson Fisk looked a lot different in that scene. That did not look like Wilson Fisk to me. So I don't know if it was the previous mayor or if that's maybe a spoiler for Born Again Season 2.
Maybe. It seems like he probably got the key to the city during the first couple years of that 4-year gap, and I don't think Fisk was mayor at the time. Yeah, I don't know actually, because Fisk could be the mayor at one point during this movie, or Fisk could also not be the mayor at one point during this movie. So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they'll be able to play around with that for sure.
Yeah. So then we see him throw himself off a building, start swinging into action, and I can already tell the action in this movie is just going to be top notch.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be so cool. Just slinging through the city, beating up bad guys. It's just very, very comic booky. I think it's gonna be really exciting.
100%. And as Spider-Man's dealing with some chaos, he runs into probably the most chaotic man in the MCU, Frank Castle. And Peter knows him well enough to actually call him Frank at this point. So clearly this isn't their first interaction, but I do think this little glimpse into how they interact was great. Like, it shows exactly how Spider-Man's gonna manage how Frank deals with criminals and stuff like that. And that kick through the car. And then the web shot on the gun and on his mouth telling him to go home. I mean, just
Forget about it.
literally pulled right out of a comic book.
Yeah, man, just those couple seconds that we got between Spider-Man and Frank Castle was like proof that this is going to be peak. The relationship between the two of them is going to be so great. And he shows up a couple times in this trailer, so it seems like he's going to be more than a cameo. He's actually going to have like a role in the plot or something. You know, there was part of me that was a little worried that they were going to make Spider-Man look weak next to Frank Castle, or make him seem like timid or scared or intimidated by him. But he does not seem really intimidated by Frank Castle. He seems to be himself. He seems like he can handle himself. And I think they had some good back and forth.
Yeah. So next we see Peter at a party trying to be social for once. Hopefully that goes well. But Ned and MJ are also there. And it's probably going to be a housewarming party because at the end of the trailer, a scene that takes place what looks like around the same time, MJ and Ned become neighbors with Peter. So it's probably a housewarming party since Peter brought flowers as a housewarming gift at the end of the trailer. So probably a housewarming party. And MJ's new side piece, or whatever you want to call him, is at the party too. And this is rumored to be Paul Rabin, or Robin, however you want to pronounce that, from the comics, who also becomes MJ's boyfriend after Peter is gone for a time in that storyline. So this is likely going to be a major conflict because No Way Home revealed Peter has an insane temper. He can let loose, get dark, start swinging, and I could totally see him accidentally hurting Paul really badly at some point during this movie while trying to protect MJ, or maybe he interprets something wrong after not getting a lot of sleep or whatever, and just I could see that going real bad.
Yeah, there's definitely something there for sure. There's some potential for something bad going on there. We know that, like the previous Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man can stop pulling his punches when he feels like it, when he gets pushed far enough. And obviously he's still not completely over losing MJ, so seeing her with Paul is not going to help him at all. So yeah, that could definitely push him to do something he rather would regret.
Yeah. And all the stress and anxiety that he's probably going through during this movie leads him to looking extremely unwell, and he actually passes out. And we get a line from him at the same time asking, "What is happening to me?" And later on in the trailer, we see Professor Dr. Bruce Banner, all the above. So I'm glad he's in the movie. It's cool to see him back as just regular Bruce. And Peter's asking Bruce for help, and Bruce suggests that what's going on with Peter is that
If DNA is mutating, it would be enormously dangerous.
and then this is later backed up by dialogue from someone who's not currently listed in the trailer because it says narrator, but it's either going to be Tombstone, played by Marvin Jones III, or it could be Keith David. Those are the two names going around for who could be the narrator in this, talking about spider life cycles. But what they're saying is spiders have 3 life cycles, and between cycles it can leave them vulnerable to threats. And for the spiders who do make it through the cycle process, it amounts to some kind of rebirth. And this is definitely Peter obtaining his organic webbing and who knows what else. So that is so sick. And this is also later justified by him waking up in a cocoon of webs and almost falling to the ground. And he webs himself up without his web shooters. So he gets organic webbing and who knows what else he's going to get. So sick.
Yeah, that's so super cool, man. For them to release that in the trailer is kind of surprising. That's a pretty big reveal, but it's so cool. I thought the visual of him like waking up in the cocoon and like getting out of it was a really cool visual for his evolution. Like they said, he is mutating, he's evolving right now, and that's probably going to be one of the main plots of this movie, how he deals with his physicality changing and how exactly it changes. So that's going to be really interesting to follow through. And about the Bruce Banner thing, real quick, I'm really excited about Bruce Banner. It's going to be great to see him in there. I'm glad he's the professor. We were kind of speculating that could be his role and that could be how they meet. So that's going to be really interesting. And apparently we're getting Hulk back by the end of this movie. So curious to see how that ends up going. I hope we get a little bit of Peter Parker in school being a student at the start of this movie, like probably in the first act. I feel like we didn't get a lot of that in the home trilogy. It wasn't a lot of him being a student, so maybe we could get more of that in this. But I mean, yeah, there's so much going on in this trailer, man.
Yeah, and there definitely seems to be some sort of mind control or mental manipulation stuff going on, so that could factor into how Hulk becomes Hulk again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then next we see Spider-Man being scanned by a device. And I wonder if Peter's going to have to tell Bruce that he is Spider-Man, because how is he going to explain everything that's going on with him in the third person, or saying like, oh, this is my friend. Like you're not going to get access to all those tests and all that results and information without him coming clean to Bruce about it.
Yeah, true. He's going to have to tell him about that eventually. That is going to be a really interesting aspect of that relationship, because kind of what we were mentioning earlier with MJ and Ned remembering their experiences with Spider-Man but not remembering who it is. Hulk has fought side by side with Spider-Man at one point. They were on the same team. So does Bruce remember being on Spider-Man's team but not know who he is? Does Bruce and Hulk have a different memory? Will Hulk remember Spider-Man? Who knows? There's a lot they could explore with that relationship.
Yeah, but then we see water dripping into a bucket filled with a lot more water. So I'm wondering, like, is the water supply going to get contaminated? And that's going to cause people to be vulnerable to mental manipulation? Because right after this, we see even Peter's mind is being affected by this. Although it is looking like it's going to be somewhat earlier in the movie because he still has his web shooters on.
Yeah. I'm curious what exactly is going on there. I don't know if there's a bigger thing at play. It feels like that was very intentional that they added that in the trailer. So I think there's probably something behind that.
Yeah, like there's water dripping into a bucket. That's so ominous.
Yeah, especially considering how everything else that is in this trailer and everything else that they're showing us. Like, I feel like there's got to be a reason for this.
Yeah, 100%. So we also see Peter doing the famous web slingshot move that spider people do, so it's really cool to see that. And I think he overestimated his strength a little bit here, because if you look at the suit, no web shooters. So he's probably likely started mutating already because he acquired the organic webbing, which likely factored into him messing up the shot because he's still adjusting from the cycle transition. So I feel like for time point references in the trailer, web shooters on the suit means it's earlier in the movie, and no web shooters means it's later in the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. That logic tracks there for sure.
Mm-hmm. And we also see Peter visiting Aunt May, R.I.P. So sad. We miss you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Even though this is technically like we think it's going to be a trilogy. We don't know exactly how many movies Tom Holland's going to do, but if this is a new trilogy in the Spider-Man saga, it's still very affected by what has happened in the past. Like, they're not ignoring anything that's happened in previous movies. They mentioned several times, like, people don't know who Peter is. They, like, obviously the Aunt May reference, he's still obviously struggling with the things that he's gone through in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really glad that they're not leaving that stuff out either.
Yeah, it's super important for his character.
100%. And then we see the first glimpse of Sadie Sink's character in the trailer, and she's locked up in some sort of facility. So I wonder if she has something to do with the mental manipulation stuff that's going on in the trailer, because if she is playing Jean Grey like she's rumored to be, I mean, well, then that fits right in. But the only other thing that I could think of in regards to the mental manipulation stuff would be Mr. Negative, but it doesn't really seem like that they're doing that, because Tombstone is also going to be in this. So I feel like having Mr. Negative on top of everybody else would just be way too thick of a movie. But I'm just happy that Tombstone is going to be in this movie, and especially since he's rumored to be narrating about the spider life cycles, it seems like he's going to have a pretty interesting take on this whole thing, and maybe even telling Spider-Man like what's going on with him, which would be such a complex scene in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a really mind-bending scene for him to do that. I think the Tombstone casting is really good. He's going to be so good for that role. And apparently he's going to be like an overarching Spider-Man character in the upcoming Spider-Man movies too. So I can totally get behind that. I would love 2 or 3 movies of that Tombstone casting.
Yeah, me too. Marvin Jones the third, GOAT.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we see some explosions outside of a facility. People are running away. And then we see a shot of some sort of military vehicle flipped over inside of what's probably going to be the same facility that's having the explosions. And the police and SWAT team are assisting Spider-Man. So I make this point because CJ, you reference how the key of the city thing is a mayor thing, and how Fisk wasn't the mayor handing Spider-Man the key. So I make the point about the SWAT team assisting Spider-Man because Fisk implemented the anti-vigilante task force, and he also mentioned Spider-Man basically by name during a rant on television.
We don't need a gun-toting vigilante who wears a skull on his chest, or a man who dresses in a spider outfit.
So that, along with Fisk also knowing about Frank Castle Punisher, I feel like Daredevil Season 2 might see the end of the anti-vigilante task force, and vigilantes can do more to protect the city again.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. We could absolutely see that happening. I feel like Daredevil Born Again Season 2 could definitely play a bigger role in the Spider-Man movie than I think people are letting on. It's coming out directly before the movie. It's happening in the exact same city. A lot of the same, I mean, Frank is going to be in the movie and almost definitely in Born Again Season 2. I would be upset if he's not in the show.
You know, weirdly enough, he's rumored to not be in it.
I hope he is. I would not be a huge fan of that. I mean, I love Daredevil Born Again anyways, but Frank Castle is one of the best like comic book castings for TV ever.
Yeah, maybe he can make a Butcher kind of cameo at the end of Gen V Season 1. You know,
Yeah.
just walk in and be like, okay.
Man, Butcher and Frank Castle interacting together would be so sick.
Yeah, that's a spin-off show right there, or a what if episode.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. But back to your point, that it is a good point that you mentioned that Spider-Man is working with the authorities, because like you said, if Fisk was in charge, the authorities would not be working with the vigilantes. They would be going after the vigilantes, you know? So there's probably going to be some explanation there as well.
Yeah, definitely. But Peter opens up the vehicle and it's just Nona. I don't know what's going on anymore. I have officially lost the plot. She seems almost happy to see him there, like she was expecting him there. It's not like a relieved kind of smile. It's like, oh, you're here. Okay. Everything's going to plan. Okay. And then 2 of the SWAT guys immediately get mind controlled to a degree, and the lady starts holding her head like it hurts. So could this be Jean Grey manipulating everyone's concept of reality to believe that they're seeing something else? Like, it's not actually an old lady inside the car. It actually could maybe be someone else.
Yeah, that could totally be a possibility. I feel like this trailer made me more convinced that Sadie Sink's character is going to be Jean Grey, considering the mind control that we got and the different aspects of that. I think it would make sense for it to be Jean Grey. Maybe that was like a distraction in some way for Jean to get out of that facility that they were holding her in, that they had showed a couple seconds earlier. I don't know why she would have picked an old woman to be in the back of the truck though, to go into the building. I don't know what I don't know what that part I'm gonna have to wait to see to find out in the movie. But I really liked the visual effect of the mind control aspect of it, because you can basically see it leaving the old woman's body and going into one of the SWAT members, and then you can see it leaving his body and then going into someone else's body up above him. I just thought that was a really cool visual aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I actually didn't even interpret it as like it leaving someone's head and going to someone else. I thought it was like happening to them, like adding on from one another all at the same time, like, but not switching off from one another. So maybe you're more onto it than I am. I don't know.
It could have been like spreading from one person to another, like you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. But if this is Jean Grey, this is a really, really interesting starting point for her character because this seems like a very chaotic, neutral behaviored character. And that's not Jean Grey's not a chaotic neutral at all. She's for the greater good, wants to be a good mom, trying to have a stable relationship with Cyclops and take care of some of the younger X-Men and, be a support role. Like that's Jean Grey.
Yeah, 100%. This character that we're seeing does seem very different personality-wise from the Jean Grey that we've seen in the Fox X-Men movies. And I think that they could make this make sense if Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. Obviously, it's going to be a younger Jean Grey, probably in her like early mid-20s. She's not going to be the full-fledged like leader of the X-Men like she is. So maybe she could have like a coming of age storyline or something. Maybe she's just in the early stages of her powers, trying to figure out what she wants to do with it. But yeah, this does seem like a very different take on the character.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll just have to wait and see. But then we see Trammell Tillman's character filling Spider-Man in on the threat that's going on. He says,
"We are faced with a danger that we can't control. One we can't even see."
Is it Tombstone Beyond the Grave? Sorry, just had to do it. Had to do it. But who is the threat? Is it Sadie Sink's character here? I mean, like they show her raising her hands up in kind of an evil manner right after he says this. So man, her character is so centric to what's going on here.
Yeah, it is a very important character, and we have very few answers about anything of this character. Mm-hmm. So like in a way, it's good because I don't know what to expect from this movie, even though we've gotten a lot in this trailer. I still don't know what to expect from Sadie Sink characters, and I don't know what role she's going to play in this plot.
Yeah, I have an idea. So Trammell Tillman is likely playing the character William Metzger, who in the comics is a hater of mutants. So maybe she's revolting against some stuff that he's done in the past.
Yeah, like she's rebelling against him, so he's trying to frame it in a way that she is a threat because she's a threat to the corruption in a way, because he wants to keep his power, and that is what the threat is. So yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then maybe Tillman behind the scenes can, hire Tombstone or Scorpion, but then Spider-Man catches wind of what's really going on and tries to help Sadie Sink's character, but then that puts him against everyone, and then,
Yeah, man, I think that'd be great. I think that would be really cool. I would love there's no way we don't get some kind of action scene between Tom Holland and Sadie Sink in this movie, whether it be them fighting together or fighting against each other. I'm really looking forward to whatever that may be.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of fighting, we finally see a comic accurate Scorpion fighting Spider-Man with the super long mechanical tail. So awesome. I'm really glad Michael Mando's back to play the role. I mean, I'm just really excited to see these guys duke it out.
Yeah, man, I thought the suit was sick. The tail is awesome. It looks so cool. Very, very comic accurate. I love that. I've mentioned how much alike this trailer is to the comics. They've definitely stayed true to that with the Scorpion character as well. And I'm glad that he's finally back because it has been a long time since we've seen him on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. He finally got out of jail.
Yeah.
But then we see Spider-Man messing up, swinging around again. So he's clearly needing a bit of an adjustment period with whatever cycle, transition, mutation stuff is going on within his body. And this is followed up with Frank telling him, "You're losing it, kid." So I'm excited to see how that conversation goes because Frank has a savant level ability of seeing through people's bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, he tells you what you need to hear, whether you want to hear it or not. That's basically who he is. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that conversation a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing how they interact. I'm just looking forward to Frank Castle in general. He's up walking around on a platform too. Love that. That's my favorite TV show, Frank Castle on a platform. I love that. Give me that. Give me 8 episodes of Frank Castle on a platform.
Yeah, like a podcast.
Dude, this motherfucker takes naps. I don't trust people that take naps, dude. I just found that out. He doesn't take naps, dude. He's a grown-ass man. No, you don't fucking... Dude, yeah, it's like, dude, like, the whole world's moving while you're napping, bro. It's fucking terrible.
Yes, give Frank Castle a platform on social media.
Oh, man. But you gotta wonder if Frank is gonna talk to Spider-Man about Aunt May.
Oh, God, he's gonna drop a line like he did in Born Again.
Yeah, because Peter's gonna be like, "Yeah, I tried to save her," and he's like, "But you did it. You're dead."
Yeah,
nothing you can do about it.
man.
Oh, what? Boo hoo? Want me to feel bad for you?
It's so good.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something else, man. Hey, Herschel, man, let me ask you something. Let me tell you something, man. Let me ask you something, man.
I cannot wait for Frank to tell somebody something.
Yeah.
He has to tell someone something in this movie, and I cannot wait.
But then we see Spider-Man and MJ talking in private. He's got the suit on, so maybe he's like, I don't know if you'll believe me, but I'm the guy like down the hall.
Hey, neighbor.
Yeah, man. But I hope Peter does reveal to MJ that he is Spider-Man, because as Doc Ock once said,
if you keep something as complicated as love stored up inside, it can make you sick.
Yeah, it's a really good line, and it's very true to Peter at this point in his life.
yeah. And then we see, likely during the same sequence that we saw Peter web Frank's mouth in, telling him to go home, we see him slam into a bus, and X-Men fans have been posting this screenshot of this girl who's on the bus because she has the exact same hairstyle as the X-Men character Rogue. Don't play with us, Kevin Feige. Don't play with us.
Interesting. Man, there are some breadcrumbs. And if you look at it a certain way, then you could absolutely put something together here. There have been several, the mutation stuff, possibly Jean Grey, now Rogue look-alike too.
And also the mutant hater guy that Trammell Tillman's playing.
Yeah, man. It's, man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Super, really exciting stuff, dude.
Yeah, dude. So then we see some slow-mo shots that emulate comic covers from different Spider-Man comics. And this first one looks like it actually, while it is emulating a comic cover, it looks like in the scene, it looks like it could take place during the Void's short takeover of New York. And maybe Peter's saving people who didn't get voided or were on the way to get voided.
That would be really interesting. I would like that a lot. I would love a reference to Thunderbolts. We've mentioned that Marvel kind of hesitates to directly reference things from other projects. At least like has been lately. They kind of like to keep things separate. So even though there's so much that goes on in New York City in the Avengers universe, so yeah, I would love for them to reference something like that.
Yeah, me too. And then next we see him fighting Boomerang. That's sick. That suit looks really cool from Boomerang. So cool that they're adding him in. And then we also see Tarantula that Peter is fighting as well. So we're seeing some deep cuts in the villains lineup. Pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's great. Kind of like the that opening montage that we got from Fantastic Four, where they were fighting, well, a lot of it got cut, but where they were fighting like villains from their comic book history. Kind of a similar thing going on here, which I really like.
Yeah, same, me too. So then we see what looks like a bunch of ninjas who are a part of the Hand, and they have him locked up in a jail. And as one of them is about to stab Peter with a sword, his eyes go black and dark red, kind of looks like a spider's eyes. And he actually webs up the blade and rips the blade into pieces before we see one last shot of the Hand and more ninjas. And honestly, it looks like someone was edited out of this last shot here. You know, kind of like how some villains were edited out of the No Way Home trailer. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because it does look like there's 6 members of the Hand, and Peter is like towards the top of the screen, but it looks like some of the members of the Hand are below him, but they're looking at eye level. So they're not looking up at Peter, but they're looking at somebody directly in front of them, which interesting, similar to, like you mentioned, the cutouts from No Way Home. Wonder who that could be, or if it is going to be anybody. Whoever it is, they got to be able to get up in the air, because they were in between buildings there. They were not really near the ground.
Yeah, Frank Castle cannot just aim for the bushes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes.
No, he cannot. No.
But there have been rumors that at some point during Spider-Man Brand New Day, Daredevil is going to be imprisoned in some capacity. And since the Hand is now seen in this trailer, what if Spider-Man is somehow going to try and save Daredevil, who's imprisoned by the Hand?
That would be really cool. I would really love that.
I feel like they would be too scared to tie into the Netflix stuff that heavy in a movie, but that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's a big reason why we haven't gotten like much of Daredevil or really any of Wilson Fisk in Marvel movies, because there's rights issues, or there has been rights issues in the past. They're hesitant to bring some of these characters like Daredevil, like Luke Cage, like Wilson Fisk into movies. We did get the glimpse of Daredevil in No Way Home in the apartment, so that was cool. Hopefully they can build off that. Maybe we get more of him in this movie. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I would really love that, because I mean, just those characters have so much to offer, and they are a big part of this universe in how New York functions as a city. They are a part of the culture in a way. So like, bring them in. But the trailer ends with that scene that I was talking about, the party scene, but taking place at a later time. And Peter brings flowers as a housewarming gift. And he said, "Oh, I'm just a neighbor from down the hall." And just says, "Ooh, a friendly neighbor." And he chokes on his drink because, she said the thing. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It was so good. I really like that line. That was really funny. I don't imagine that Ned and MJ are going to be huge in this movie. I know they're going to have some scenes and they're going to obviously update from No Way Home, but I don't know if they're going to be huge for the plot. But I'm really looking forward to the stuff that they do get to do together, because they're both great actors. And even in this glimpse that we got of MJ in her mind here, not recognizing Peter and actually not knowing who he is, she does a good job at like playing that, and it is still funny. The friendly neighbor line was really good.
Yeah, definitely a nice little witty piece of writing there. But yeah, what a great trailer this was, coming out July 31st. Can't wait to break it down and watch it. So excited.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. I'm even, like I mentioned, I'm even more excited now about it than I was before. And these upcoming months and the rest of this 2026 year is going to be huge for not just Marvel, but superheroes in general. We have a lot of superhero projects coming out, really important projects for both MCU and DCU, as well as The Boys and other stuff like that as well. So, man, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and I cannot wait for this movie.
Same. So, this has been the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer breakdown. If you stayed this far into the video, we really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, hit that sub button if you want to. We won't make you, but we'd appreciate it. And if there's any topics that you would like us to talk about for a video, whether it's Marvel, DC, we also cover baseball as well. Just leave it down in the comments and we will gladly cover it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you on the next video. Peace.